Cheek. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in Matawan, New Jersey. Chopping it up from the Cabinet Creations Sports Desk. It is Sturch, the return of the Mac, the Chico over there wearing the amazing Razor Ramon t-shirt. Gooch is back in the house. Nick behind the glass. And, of course, Madison also in the building somewhere around these parts. She missed the intro. So that'll be a demerit on her resume. And when she gets her report card at the end of her internship, this will be – did you hear me squeak? You heard me?
I did.
Son of a bitch.
You know that shit. I'm not letting that shit go. Not letting that shit slide.
I don't know what happened, Scoob. So anyway, hope everybody's doing good out there on a Thursday. It is Friday Eve. The weekend's almost here. Lots to get into today. Yesterday's episode, this whole week, actually, there's been a really good response over on the old YouTube machine. So we appreciate you guys checking it out. Be sure to like the video. I just got thrown off for no reason. Like the video, please. And if you're not subscribed, do it. Homeboy did yesterday. I forget his name. You remember his name?
It's fucked up.
It was Duke something. Yeah, he was one of our newer viewers. He's subscribed yesterday. Apparently his girlfriend loves me. So this is like a really cool thing, you know? So if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe, and that helps us out tremendously. If you want to help us out in a monetary way, be sure to do so by checking out patreon.com /Chop Sports. That's how to do it. $10, $5, $3. Those are the ways to support the brand. Also, I'd be remiss, and I keep missing this. I keep missing this. When you're watching on YouTube, there is a little money sign. Okay, you are well allowed to leave us a tip. It's like we're the bartenders here. Okay, and we're serving you up your best sports takes of the day. There's tips, super chats, all that stuff. So be sure to do that for Chop Sports as well. It adds up. We want to buy some lunch, shit like that. Gooch, how you feeling, bro? Welcome back to the show.
I feel good. Nice
recharged, rejuvenated,
decompressing, if that's what you want to call it. But yeah, I'm back ready to go on this. Is it Thursday?
It is Thursday.
On this here Thursday.
Another Cap House cancellation.
Yeah, well, that's. I mean, look, honestly, when we're ready, we're gonna be there.
Yes.
Right now, there's ambitions, but they don't necessarily line up with schedules. So ambition is one thing and reality is another. So we'll be there next week, I think. Anyway, I do have some tidbits for the rundown today.
It is a big rundown today. Gooch's rundown. Yesterday was Sturch's rundown, and it was phenomenal. It included all of my friends from my childhood hating me, and that sucked. I had to weather that storm. You just can't talk about people's heroes, and if people look at LeBron James as a hero, then people get offended fast. And again,
I love LeBron.
And here's the thing, just to clarify, and not backpedal on all of my comments, but I'm not backpedaling.
LeBron impersonation.
No, I'm not backpedaling. All I'm saying is I really hope that people understand where I was coming from yesterday. And it doesn't come from a place of hate. It comes from a place of I want things done, and I don't like when other people, no matter who it is, LeBron just happened to be the next person.
I think that
you can't get anything done.
I think
and just there's no reason to go nuts
everybody
about
talks about tolerance. I think everybody needs to have tolerance for what other people say. Who gives a fuck what you say, what LeBron says? Because there could be people that are taking the similar take, and I think it's worth noting that you getting upset with LeBron saying something, and then someone getting upset with you saying something. I think the common denominator here is just like, don't give a fuck what other people say. I think LeBron should be a little more. He's a little tone deaf in the regard that he should have known that his statements were going to cause a stir, and that's why he's backpedaling. But in the moment when he was talking about it, it was amongst friends, so you understand like almost how locker room talk goes. I give LeBron the pass. I don't really give a shit one way or another. I don't think he should be talking politics, but I simply just want to see him win his 6th championship, or is it 5th?
I don't know. Last time he was in a championship, I don't know.
It'll be all right.
It's been a while.
I think he won his last championship.
Whatever. It's been a while. The Lakers have stunk for the last couple of years. But anyway, there's
baseball rundown.
There's massive things going on in the world of sports. Gooch, take it away.
All right. So Major League Baseball. in Kansas City, there is a bunch of issues happening because they're on their way to Toronto, and 10 men on their 26-man roster are not allowed to make the trip. Most notable of such is Andrew Benintendi. Andrew Benintendi has been connected to pretty much any team that's in need of an outfielder that's a contender, most notably the New York Yankees. And now it's being reported that by John Heyman that there's potential that the Yankees are out on any Benintendi deals because of his inability to go to Toronto. We have 6 games in Toronto and a possibility of Toronto making the postseason. Worth noting also that Toronto did fire their manager yesterday.
What was that about?
4 games above 500.
Right.
There could be some things in-house. It might be a player. One of their star players don't like him. And
it better not.
Who knows? I think that,
that
in baseball, they do a much better job of keeping things like that on the hush.
Yeah.
And you could say that the Toronto Blue Jays are in turmoil and they might not make the playoffs now because of what they're going through. But I think that actually might be a catalyst to you're going to see this team that's super talented, has good pitching, maybe start to turn the corner. Maybe the different message will help. You see that a lot. You saw that with the Raiders. You know, that new message, the players are rejuvenated midseason. So don't sleep on the Blue Jays. And I guess one other team you could effectively rule out of the Andrew Benintendi mix would be the Blue Jays because he can't play there.
Correct.
So
ever
curious to see how Benintendi goes there. I do want to bring up a Nolan Ryan stat because I did kind of go out on a limb and bash him loosely the other day, but it wouldn't be fair if I didn't at least bring up intriguing or mind-blowing stats about him otherwise. So Nolan Ryan is the all-time leader with strikeouts. It would take a starting pitcher right now, 19 seasons at 300 average Ks per season, and they still wouldn't pass Nolan Ryan's strikeout record. So wrap your head around that. He still doesn't deserve a Cy Young, though. All right, so
never got one, so it doesn't matter.
We have some NBA news that doesn't involve the NBA Summer League for once, and that is that Adam Silver is in favor of pretty much eliminating the age limit in the NBA. I believe the one and done thing is going to be a thing of the past. Yeah, so the minimum. Yeah, LeBron. You know, you're 51.
LeBron, you can keep playing.
You got to stop. No, they're going to cap it.
Dude, you're too old. You can't do this shit no more.
So I think that's a good thing. You see all the NIL stuff happening. It's almost par for the course. These basketball players that are one and done, it's the biggest joke because they're not even going to class because you don't even lose your eligibility.
Who's the most any of the guys that drafted this year were one and done? I guess all the Duke players,
every single
guy ever,
every single guy drafted in the lottery that's not European. There is another thing on the court / off the court because it's off season, so there is no on the court. But there is now a new rule in the NBA that I find to be a little over the top. There's an offensive foul rule, so the team, if you draw an offensive foul, you now go to the free throw line to shoot a free throw, and then your team retains possession of the ball.
So, I mean, can I chime in real quick, or do you want to just wait?
No, you could make notes after.
Okay.
So we do have big, huge, gigantic news out of the world of hockey and NHL news. We have a new hockey podcast that dropped, super successful podcast, and I say this because there's only 21 fans in the entire country that watch hockey, and he has 16 downloads on his podcast on day one. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for
Good job. Way to get
Not Giving a Puck.
That first episode
our buddy
out there,
Nick's
bro.
podcast on his way. I'm proud of you, buddy. So back to real sports. Sorry. Deshaun Watson's suspension. There's a lot of news, not a lot of news, but there's rumors starting to matriculate down the football field that Deshaun Watson's suspension is only going to be 4 to 6 games. Now, I might have to go pull some episodes from a time that Scoop sat in between us and me and Dave almost blew a gasket. I say me and Dave, I mean Dave. And we had this discussion about his Deshaun Watson suspension. But to be fair, I think that they're just not finding anything as egregious as we had all heard.
But what about these reports of all the details?
Yeah, but you know what you're not seeing?
Yikes.
You're not seeing all these reports of people that are close to the people that are accusing him now coming out and saying, oh, no, like, this is a money grab. There's a son of one of the masseuses that's saying like, oh, she was talking really good about Deshaun Watson, and all of a sudden the lawsuits came out, and now she's
typically that's usually what happens in these situations. Like somebody finds out that somebody can get some money, everybody gets on that train. But I think that a lot of people are getting ahead of themselves one way or another. We might see one full season drop today.
We
got a transaction. Yankees breaking news. Welcome back, Tyler Wade.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
I thought you were about to say Brett Gardner
when
you said welcome
that was
back.
part
I
of my
about to be like,
conversation this morning.
God damn it.
I'm loving it. AJ Bass going with the Adam Schefter report there. Probably came from Heyman, but anyway, good job, AJ. Sorry to cut you off there.
So Watson being suspended for 4 to 6 games might not be because of any time served or anything like that, which was my original point. It might just be because everyone got ahead of themselves and the media makes a mountain of a molehill.
Isn't the minimum of violation of player conduct policy, all that other shit, domestic violence, whatever, 6 games? That is in the statute of limitations.
The beauty of it is that when you're the judge, jury, and the executioner, you get to deem whatever the fuck you want possible. I would say that there's always been precedent and there's like a limit, but when you're Roger Goodell, you have the ability to overstep precedent. And to be fair, I don't know the reports, right? So none of us do. Maybe Deshaun Watson really is being kind of wrongly. I think we could all agree that he's a weird dude, right? And that he's been doing some funking weird shit on the massage table. But that worked.
Like that?
Doing some weird shit on the massage table, but maybe he wasn't actually like raping people.
I mean, I don't think it was ever rape. But I think it was just, because if that was the case, then that's a whole different ballgame. This was like accusations of just wanting service.
All right, I don't want to make jokes about that word. So it's like I'll refrain. But look, Deshaun Watson, I'm pulling back and I'm waiting and seeing, because if they release a suspension of only 4 to 6 games, there's going to be some heavy duty damage control and public relations hit, a PR image hit for the NFL.
I mean, but the NFL's been like dodging bullets every year.
Yeah, I know. It's just a different
every year,
of course. And like this is what they do best. But at the end of the day, there's going to be outrage no matter what.
100%.
Right? Same deal with LeBron, where if he said nothing, there would have been outrage. He says something, there's outrage. Maybe you just do a better job of saying what you say. In the NFL's case, they're doing their due diligence. Maybe the Browns did their due diligence as well, and they knew more.
But what about the stock? What about the stock in that first year of that contract? With it being like worth $1 million? That's due diligence to me. That's the Browns saying, you know what, this is going real south.
I think that's. I don't think that's the Browns saying that. I think that's Deshaun Watson having
and the agent, right?
An agent saying, you know what, like because of the imminent suspension that we don't know what it's going to be, because I'm sure there's trepidation on his part, not knowing and just being nervous and having to get dragged through this entire thing. But the Browns' willingness to do that shows that the Browns might believe. Well, I mean, they have to believe his side of the story.
Yeah,
I think that goes without saying. They can't
no turning
like,
back now.
You know what? We know, bro. Are you sorry? Say you're sorry. Like a kid, like a little kid, like you bring him by the hand and he's bringing him to the girls that he is sexually, allegedly sexually assaulted, or vice versa, because it's such a weird.
Just sit them down, have all the accusers in a row, and you have to publicly apologize and then get kicked in the dick by each one
and pay them each $20 million.
Yes. The money is valuable. Oh man. Anyway, go on.
I mean,
son.
Yeah, I guess they are trying to do the right thing, but we just don't know, because
it's just tough.
He didn't get charged, but we all know how that's kind of.
Neither did Zeke. And that guy got 6 games.
No, I know it doesn't matter. I don't think getting charged with a crime conducts, like, put it this way. Getting charged with a crime and committing a crime are two different things. Like, I think even Zeke's situation, it was a little egregious, over the top. We saw it, not criminal, but this situation might be criminal.
What did we see?
Like the whole
when he grabbed the girl,
whatever. I don't even know what else we're even talking about.
Chick. That
is the same thing though, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't, but
could have been. But
could have been after that.
Upon further review, it wasn't.
All right.
But yeah, fuck Deshaun Watson. He's out. He's out. All right. Jake Paul and Hasim Rahman. I'm tired of all the people in MMA world, or just in general, not knowing how to pronounce this guy's name. His father was a former heavyweight champ. It is Hasim Rahman Jr. You're welcome, Scoop, for the Muslim brethren out there. So they had their presser, and Hasim Rahman Jr. is since now threatening to pull out of the fight and wants to renegotiate his deal. I mean, at this point,
Mike Tyson, come back.
No, shut the fuck up. We don't want to see Mike Tyson get his ass beat by Jake Paul. It'll ruin his legacy and his ability to make money. It wouldn't, but look, as I'm watching the press conference, Hakeem Rahman is only saying he's going to pull out of the fight because that's what Jake Paul's camp is telling him to do, right? These are master promoters, and they're trying to create a little bit of a buzz around this fight, where otherwise nobody's really talking about it this week.
Right.
They did have their press conference, and Hakeem Rahman Jr. looks like he's like,
snatch a soul.
He might fuck this dude up. He's from Baltimore. He's been
on the wire.
He's been in a boxing gym his entire life. His father's sitting next to him, and they had an interesting back and forth. I say they, I mean Jake Paul and Rahman Jr., where Jake Paul was saying that, you haven't fought anybody. Like Rahman Jr. last opponent was 20-0. He fought in countless amateur fights. While Jake Paul is favored in this fight, I think he's minus 160. Rahman's like a plus. He's definitely plus money. I have almost a hard time not putting some money on.
But
Rahman.
that's not, to be honest, minus 160 ain't all that juicy. He's not a heavy favorite. He's favored
against a boxer, and I think he's drawing his confidence from the fact that they sparred together before. But Rahman Jr. saying, bro, that shit was sparring. I was brought in to help you with Nate Robinson, an NBA player, and I wasn't allowed to go southpaw. Hakeem Rahman Jr. is a southpaw, so that's the first time that Jake Paul is going to deal with a southpaw. Very, very interesting to see how this fight's going to play out. If he is
if it happens.
I mean, I think it's going to happen.
$1
million says it happens.
$1 million? You got $1 million now?
No, but Jake Paul's paying this guy $1 million. His biggest payday up to this point was probably like less than 10 G's.
It's truth.
You're going to not take $1 million payday.
So much for being a prize fighter.
And you're going to, so it's like, if you go to boxing promoters and you're like, bro, I want more than $1 million. Well, you sign the deal. And you say, well, you have to show up. You signed the deal. Well, they want to give me $1,000,001. Then you have a leg to stand on. But Hakeem Rahman Jr. doesn't have a promoter somewhere else offering him $1 million for a fight. So the fight's going to happen. Anyway, that's my rundown. A little drawn out today, but I do appreciate the green and yellow.
I did switch it up
banner.
For you. Yeah, well, listen, I do things.
The small things
we're partners
don't go
here.
unnoticed.
I try to help out. All right, so just notes real quick on the NBA offensive foul thing. My God, is that going to make the game so much longer? Like, think about it. Anytime it's an offensive foul, that moment in time, like you're like, and it's like, if it's like Mike Breen is like, offensive foul, right? And they're like, hey, and they get the ball and then turnover. Now it's like, offensive foul. And then he's going to go to the line, shoot one, then the possession. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, why? This game is going to go even longer. I'm not saying NBA games are long because they're usually like 2.5 hours to maybe push 3.
But it's also rewarding good defense with offense.
Here's my solve. Give them a point. Just give them a point. Take the foul, just, boop, boop, and you just nail it. And they're like, put one on the board, and that's it. Because stopping the game, taking all the players, go line them up down there on for a free throw. Some of these guys take a day and a half to I'm
trying to think of
shoot the free throw. Then it's not a one-shot tech.
Try to think of another way they could modify this rule.
This rule's gonna really drag the game.
Maybe they do it. Do offensive fouls don't count as team fouls?
They do.
Do they?
They do.
They count as personal fouls or not team fouls?
I think they count as both.
I don't know.
When somebody gets an offensive foul and the team's over the limit, they're on the line. So it's definitely a team foul, 100%. But if they're over the limit, now it's forever.
I was going to say
now
maybe you could do 1-and-1s just like you do for team fouls.
You're just delaying the shit.
No, but it's only delaying it like after the third offense. So it's like not every one. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way that it could speed the game up a little bit. But
I mean, that's
at the
like
same
I said,
time,
this is going to delay the game.
It's going to delay the game, but I think all the people that complain about the pace of play now, and they're complaining that the game is too fast, too many this, too much that. They want the half-court sets. Maybe some of these terrible rules will make the people that want boring basketball back happier, because that's what it's doing. I think it's making the game more boring. Interesting.
All right. So anyway, that was my only note.
So yes, I was right. Offensive fouls do not count as team fouls.
So how is that possible? Because I know for a fact when there's an offensive foul, sometimes they go to the line.
No.
So this is the new implication
so that's
of that.
what I'm saying. So instead of them getting one right away,
so it's just possession.
You count offensive team fouls, and then eventually you get to go
before
to the
this new rule. It was just change of possession, no matter how many fouls they had. That's it.
Yeah.
There was no. All right, but it does count as a personal.
It does count as a personal.
Yes. Okay. My fault, folks. I'm a basketball mogul, so obviously I know everything. But anyway, so that was the only note on that. Oh, you over one of the greatest movies last night, because you're here for most of this kind of shit. fight in the stands with the Yankee game. Anybody else see the fight? Did you see the fight? Did you see Madison? It's really good. If you're into that sort of thing, like if you're like, I'd like to see somebody get punched right in the face.
It was a beautiful fucking scene. Honestly, it was one of the best things I've seen.
I just don't like the only problem I have with it is Yankee on Yankee.
Who fucking cares?
But it was like such a
Yankee
first
fans,
of all,
Dave. Yankee fans fucking suck.
I understand.
Just to be clear, like you go to Yankee Stadium, most people there are like annoying.
While I get that and I understand that wholeheartedly, I just for whatever reason,
Fight's a fight.
This fight was, while it was like recorded by a million people and this, that, and a third, nobody packed any power in any of those punches. They kept getting up.
I think this is the
every
beauty.
time. And I was like, one guy punched that right on the button. He was like this. He was
Look, I think that's the best thing. That's the best thing about this fight is that it wasn't a bunch of fighters, but it had a bunch of guys that were down to mix it up, and nobody got hurt. Like, it's better to me.
What can they possibly be fighting over?
We could. That's my point. That's why it's like I'm not trying to see somebody get knocked out unconscious at a baseball game, because then we're having a different conversation. We're like, that guy should be in jail. Like, nobody went for their soul. Everybody was like a little, defending what this shit was. And like after each guy was hit a few times, they were like, they all had enough. They all walked away.
They're all so drunk.
And like the John Boy breakdown of this video is going to be legendary because there was. Fuck the fight. Watch everybody else, right? There was like 18-second mark through the video. There was some kid hammered that just appears out of nowhere and walks out of the aisle and up the steps. I'm like, is he a ghost? Was he in the fight? I didn't see him at all. You don't know who the one kid was hitting, but I hope it was the kid.
There was one kid getting hammer fisted. I'm talking, but then like after he was done getting hammer fisted, the guy was like, "Are you done?"
Was it the guy that initially turned and snuck the kid?
No,
like I
don't think so.
I think that the guy that turned and threw the first punch, it would have been, that was a nice decision, but it was also a good decision to not put everything he had into it, or he did and he just doesn't know how to fight.
Wow.
But
all right, go ahead.
I have a hard time thinking like that he couldn't have thrown that with a little more oomph.
100%. AJ Bascone coming in. Have never seen such acts of garbage at a Mets game. It's the two drunk guys in the Bronx. Whoa, Ryan's back. Ryan Cathcart, bro. Welcome back to the show, dude. Dude, like again, my biggest thing is like, besides the fact that nobody can knock anybody out, it was like just a jabs duel with like haymakers, but nothing was like landing
good stuff,
good enough. It was great. But again, what are they fighting over? Can you imagine if they're just sitting there at the game and they're like, my guy's like, man, one day Gallo's going to turn it around. And then one guy's like, fuck Gallo, it's not going to turn around.
It could just be like people are at a game and there's somebody that's annoying as shit. And eventually someone's like, dude, will you shut the fuck up? Like, we're Yankee fans too. Yeah, we get it.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying. Maybe it was a Gallo. Like, fuck off, Gallo. And the guy's Gallo's cousin. Like, dude, my cousin's not that bad.
Everybody's wanting to deal with that shit all the time. And it's like one thing to make your presence known at a game. We all get it. I'm not going to give anybody a hard time about anything. But at certain points, it does get egregious. You're like, dude, like enough. Trying to fucking at least like not kick the shit out of you today. But
all right,
all good. Great fight.
It was a great
video, entertaining as fuck.
Great fight. It was fun to watch. Anything else from the rundown? Not really. I was gonna go nuts about Watson again, but it's just like it's at this point, it's so that horse has been beaten to death, and now it's just bled out. So now we're just waiting to find out what the NFL decides to do. And again, they can't protect the shield. The shield's already tarnished from so many different things. So it's like they're not gonna come out of this like as the White Knights and we're like, well, we made an example of Mr. Watson. Like, they're not. They're just not.
I'm looking at Dan Snyder.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I need to say. You just shut up at everything.
Dan Snyder's the biggest piece of garbage in the NFL, maybe even more so than Deshaun Watson.
I didn't mean it, guys. I didn't mean it.
Didn't mean what?
No, I don't want to hear about Dan Snyder again. I don't want to fucking go.
Oh, no,
I know, Dave, that's a trigger.
Not
trigger
really,
word for Dave.
The Redskins have been shit forever, so I don't care. Commanders, football team, whatever the fuck you want to call them. It's just, they've just been shit.
Is he back in the country yet?
I don't know. Like, his subpoena ran out. They got to issue another one. I don't know. The whole thing sucks. It's so stupid. But anyway, before we get into, actually, I don't know if you want to do pass catchers first, then do some reads, or you want to get the reads out.
Read them out, baby.
All right, Fusco, my guy. All right. You guys worried if you're going to start running out of money in retirement? How you'll pay for long-term health care? Will your family be okay? Stop worrying. Start planning. You all right?
It's disconnected.
All right, don't worry about it. Michael Fusco can help. As president of the Fusco Insurance Agency, Michael can work with you to create a comprehensive retirement plan. He'll explore using life insurance and annuities to help you build a more secure future so you can worry a little bit less right now. Call 718-701-5787 to schedule your complimentary consultation. 718-701-5787. Guarantees and protections are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company. Some insurance policies are not available in all states. And then we got the financing he's doing now via the prestigetaxfinancing.com. Financing customers with 540 FICO scores and above. Increase the number of sales and sizes of your sales by doing this. They're starting at $300 and above. So go check out that as well. Before we get into your newest read, which is going to be a fun one, I do want to also give a shout out to Dat Chat once again. Those guys are really picking up steam. I keep seeing more and more stuff over on social media about their social media and blockchain and NFTs and all that stuff. So be sure to check out Dat Chat over on iTunes. Or not iTunes. I always fuck that up. It's the iTunes store or whatever. That's how you buy the app, or it's free. So you're not buying anything. And the Google Play, you could do that. And of course, HaterFantasyFootball.com. I had a great productive meeting with Mr. Dave Vidori yesterday as far as his next steps on the big launch. Probably the end of August, they're going to do a whole week of free games. So with like $100-something gift cards available with T-shirts and all this stuff giveaway, they really want to hit this out of the park. So HaterFantasySports.com. Go check them out. And Gooch has something from the return of Manscaped.
Yeah. So we're back in their good graces and vice versa. So thank you to Manscaped for getting in the green. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Sort of.
All right. So I got some issues right away because hey, you.
By the way, first read.
And I'm not talking to Manscaped anymore. We are cool now. I'm talking to you guys out there. Do you got bush? If you have bush, that's the first thing I have to talk to you about, because no men are referring to their taint jungle as a bush anymore. So we're gonna have to modify
the bush.
We're gonna have to modify this, and I'm gonna have to hit up their PR guy or their marketing guy and be like, hey, do you need me to write your intros to your reads?
Your copy?
Because I got you. But if you head on over to manscaped.com right now and you use the promo code SHOPSPORTS, you will still receive 20% off your entire order and free shipping worldwide. It is a big chunk.
Right off your bush.
That's going to be going down the drain, because the Lawnmower 4.0 is in fact waterproof and you could use it in the dark.
And then you're going to call your plumber.
LED trimmer. And well, not if you keep on shaving on the daily, because in the
then it's
we're
minimal,
going to get a little graphic here. So there is no need for the night vision goggles when you're grooming your taint jungle, because like I said, it has the 400K LED trimmer attached to it. And the Performance Package 4.0 is what they're pushing right now. And it has 2 free gifts. It has the anti-chafing boxers, which I have on right now. I will attest to that. They're anti-chafing indeed. And they have the t-shirt that I used to wear, and then I threw it away, but I got another one coming in the mail because we're friends again at Manscaped. Thank you. Use the promo code SHOPSPORTS, 20% off.
Oh man,
we are
Bailey
back.
said, "Do you got Bush?" In quotes, almost sent him off the ladder. So the reads work, and now Bailey's going to go. Hopefully he didn't fall off the ladder, but definitely go check out Manscaped.com, 20% off. All right, ESPN has been polling execs. I don't know who these execs are, but I got to have a talk with some of them about their lists. So we've covered quarterback.
Ryan, are you talking about swamped with swamp ass? Because if that's the case, then the Lawnmower
20% off, huh?
Is
get that
waterproof.
bush tamed.
You fucking get that swamp nice and right.
And and not for nothing, Madison, I got to bring this up, that Janine from Absolute Eyewear yesterday posted in Chop Sports. Okay, she posted, and she's like just MF and Gallo again. And she goes, his D sucks too. And I was like, first of all, how do you know anything about Gallo's D? She didn't get it.
Defense. Yeah,
but no, I tried to do a funny flipper on that one. And then she's like, well, what I meant was the defense. I'm like, right over Janine's head.
Rightfully so, though. I mean, I think that was maybe a misstep on Dave's part. It's like, I wish I had that one back.
It's right? Like, unsend. How do I unsend it?
Scoop, could you teach Dave how to unsend shit? Because you're the king of unsent messages. Dude, I'm dying to know. I wish there was an archive of all the shit that Scoop unsends, because I know you're into some weird shit, Scoop.
Yeah.
You're into some cosplay groups.
He's Aquaman.
So it's like there's probably weird shit that
anybody else?
God damn it, wrong chat.
Madison, you know anybody else into cosplay? Like dressing up as like superheroes and shit for fun?
No.
I will give a shout out to his wife, Casey, because she makes these things. So it's like everything that they've worn is like custom made Aquaman shit.
Yeah.
I can't even say it with a straight face. I'm trying and I can't. But anyway, so hopefully Scoop is using his Father's Day package to make sure his taint jungle is taken care of because Aquaman is smooth. So anyway.
Yeah, I don't know of many hairy fish.
Exactly. Good thing for Aqua. Well,
And then again,
anyway.
I don't know any Muslim fish either.
Here's Scoop's response. I unsend shit all the time because it's not appropriate. What are you worried about appropriate for? It's the group chat. For our group chat, maybe?
Group chat. Like we talk sports in there. And
we talk everything in there. I mean, that's a sacred ground.
Spider-Man's alternate universe costume.
Like shout out to Venom. He was amazing. Like, no, okay.
On the new phone update, you can unsend messages. Like the new iOS update in September, you'll be able to unsend.
Whoa, game changer, my friends. Because you know how many texts you sent at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and you wish you had back? Now you have a chance.
I text 3 people. I'm safe no matter what. I don't need your new fucking update. I promise. Like I literally.
Yeah, you don't need a new phone. Isn't your phone like brand new?
Do I even text? No, it's just an update. Yeah. Dave. It's like the software update.
Who the hell?
Dave's thinking that like you have to get the new iPhone 21 to get to be able to unsend the text.
First of all, we're up to 13 anyway. And ESPN has done some executive polling, if that's a thing. We've covered the quarterbacks already. You know my gripe with all that. We've covered the running backs. My gripes with all that. This one we're kind of meshing together because they did rank tight ends and they did rank receivers. And I looked at the
I think there's lists are out. I don't think these are released. I think they were all released at once, and we're just picking. Like I just think we picked the running backs in the first day, and then you're like, oh, they released the receivers one.
You know what it is.
I think that just came across your timeline.
No. You know what it is.
For the first time.
This is factual in regards to when they want to highlight it, they'll put it on the homepage, and they're like, oh wow, it's there. But yes, they've been out for a while. But as far as pass catchers are concerned, I'm talking receivers and tight ends. Because when I looked at the receiver list, I kind of looked it up and down. I was like, well, I don't really have many gripes, if at all. I mean, maybe at the back end of it. I mean,
or at least some conversations. But like, really, it always comes down to criteria. Like, you can't really these guys. You're not giving them a criteria. It's like,
well, because here's the thing:
they're facing these players and shit like that.
I think what you mean by criteria is like when it comes to running backs and receivers and like the skill positions of the NFL. Nobody ever says, well, how many Super Bowls did they win? It's always the quarterback in regards to that. That's why there's no.
Like with these positions too, it's also you tail off when you start to tail off. Like the when you start your decline, when you finally fall off the ledge, it's steep. You know, so it's like I'm hard pressed putting a guy that is on the decline, and I know I'm not bringing up Zeke right now, but I'm saying for reasons why, like, maybe a Mike Evans, like I have a hard time putting a Mike Evans over Terry McLaurin right now. Like the trajectory of where their careers are headed, I know Mike Evans is in a good spot this year, and I know that he has the respect of his peers, but you understand. So like, that's where I have criteria issues. Like I'm taking Terry McLaurin over a lot of the other guys, and I would even we'll get into the list. I don't want to give away too much. Let's get into the list.
Well, I didn't write it down, so.
Oh.
I'll pull it up.
Well, I remember, though.
All right.
So
one was Devontae.
One is Devontae Adams. 2 is Cooper Kupp. 3 is Jamar Chase.
Justin Jefferson 4. Tyreek Hill 5.
That's where I start my little why is this happening. Tyreek Hill situation. He goes to Miami. Lesser quarterback now. So production might go down. But overall, I know when I look at the other ones, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, those guys are receivers, route running receivers.
I mean,
With Tyreek Hill, I always look at Hill as like he's running the drag route. He's getting led with a pass by Mahomes, taking it to the house because he's got a 800 speed in real life.
Or he's getting hit with a hitch. A 1-yard hitch. Like if you watch the play in the
a 1-yard hitch is almost like a wide. You mean like a wide receiver screen?
Yeah, but
besides in front of the line.
If that was the case, then. And I know that I understand your point about Tyreek Hill may not be, a complete receiver, but he's so dynamic when he has the ball in his hands, or even before he has it. Like route running, I think he's got route running down.
You gotta. It's just so weird. Like to me, do you understand what I'm saying? Though, somebody from the outside looking in, like saying,
I think he's a victim of the fact that he is so fast. You're like, wow, he just blows people away. But yeah, he does. How come everyone else isn't? You know, like he's
like for me, I find it hard pressed for me to be like, oh, what a great poster out by Tyreek Hill. It's always like drag, slant, hitch, screen, bubble screen, all that shit. But yet he still has 100+ yards a game.
And at the end of the day, he still has 1,400 yards and like 10
Correct.
to 12
Stats don't lie.
touchdowns a year
Stats don't
for
lie.
4 or 5 years in a row.
And that's why he's 5th on this fucking list, right? So that's
I
why.
can't disagree with it. Tyreek Hill's been like a fringe first, second round pick in fantasy for the better part of half a decade.
Right.
Right.
Who's after Tyreek Hill? This is 6 now.
Yep. So 6 is Stephon Diggs.
Fine.
7's DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes.
8 is Mike Evans. 9 is Deebo Samuel. And 10 is DK Metcalf.
Oh, so no love to specific guys like your boy McLaurin. They don't rank him in the top 10. Amari Cooper, DJ Moore, guys like that.
DJ Moore didn't even make Keenan Allen,
Mike Williams. Both those guys.
These are the honorable mentions. Were
they're on the bottom. So honorable mentions is
it's Keenan Allen, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, Michael Thomas, CD Lamb, Mike Williams, and also receiving votes were Adam Thielen, Tyler Lockett, Deontay Johnson, Odell Beckham, and T. Higgins.
So, like, all right, first of all, T. Higgins is way underrated on that list.
We'll talk about T. Higgins today because we got the Bengals
that
because that's, to me, I'm like, what the fuck is
I don't hear DJ Moore's name at all. I don't hear Amari Cooper's name at all.
Which is nuts,
right?
bro.
I think you could effectively
Amari Cooper to me was, and this
you got to
is
put
as
him over CD Lamb.
As a cow.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
That's why he was wide receiver 1 last year. That's not changed. And now he just changes
at the end of the
scenarios.
Day, like we said, these are guys that
one of the best route runners in the football.
Judged by their peers and not only
these
their
are
peers,
execs this time around.
It's all of them. It's a poll of players, execs, coaches, and scouts. All.
But there's only 50. So like, how many players do you think they used and who? You know, you wonder. You wonder which players they use because I know in the NFL, when the NFL list comes out,
I would probably say around 12.
When that top 100 players list in the NFL, that's all players specific. Players vote on their peers. This one is like GMs, head coaches, and then like which players do you choose to poll these guys? Like a quarterback who's played with everybody or retired players? Probably retired players, not in the league anymore. Can't poll those guys now, you know? But in any event, weird list, but then there's the tight ends, right? And obviously the top of that list is your George Kittles, is your Travis Kelce's, is your Darren Waller is moved up a lot of ranks because that just guy is freakishly gifted. But the weird part, not the weird part, but the part I can debate is I believe comes in at number 5, and that's Kyle Pitts. I'm like, what have you? I mean, rookie stats aside, which again he did blow it up for a rookie tight end, but I'm just like, you really think Pitts is better than some of the guys that are behind him? When I'm talking about like guys like TJ Hawkinson, and there was a couple guys that I just remember on this list.
I think, you want me to go down the whole list?
Go for it.
All right. So number 1, Kittle. Number 2, Travis Kelce. 3 is Darren Waller.
Yeah.
4 is Mark Andrews.
Fine.
5, Kyle Pitts.
That's where I'm like,
6,
what the fuck?
Dallas Goedert. 7 is TJ Hawkinson.
I like TJ. Goddard's gonna be the guy. You know, like he no longer has to deal with Zach Ertz anymore.
Has a chance to be number 1 or 2 after this season.
I mean,
potential. Yeah, you're right.
I think you maybe put Hawkinson above Kyle Pitts, but
I do too.
That's just because I think Hawkinson has done a lot in a terrible situation.
He's gotten hurt a lot.
He has been banged up.
I think you could put Dawson Knox. I like better than Hawkinson. Right,
my boy Freiermuth. We talked about him yesterday. He's going to be a stud this year.
So then we have after Hawkinson at 7, 8 is Dalton Schultz, 9 Dawson Knox, 10 Hunter Henry. Honorable mentions are Mike Gesicki, Pat Freiermuth. I don't know if I said that name right, but
you did. You got
Zach Ertz, David Njoku, and also receiving votes were Jonnu Smith, Tyler Higbee, CJ
Uzuma.
Okay, thank you. Noah Fant and Austin Hooper.
Not gonna work here anymore.
Whatever. Like the back as you get towards the back end of the tight ends, I feel like you could lump them all together. I think there's potential for some of those guys to way outplay their rank. And I say rank, it's not really ranking, but I'm firmly okay with Kyle Pitts at 4.
I'm interested to see the fall from grace because of the fact that he doesn't have Matt Ryan anymore, and it's a Marcus Mariota now. So like that, I don't know. I just
throw it.
What?
Mariota can throw it.
Who was the Titans tight end when Mariota was the quarterback over there? I'm pretty sure it was a guy. No, it wasn't Jonnu Smith. It was earlier than that. Somebody before that, and he was good.
Frank Wycheck? Steve
damn
McNair
it.
days. No, I don't know. Higbee, underrated, according to Scoob. I believe that too.
Yeah,
I
mean,
like Higbee. And he's in a really good situation over there. You know what I mean? Like, he's really, really
I
good
think
situation.
that Higbee's
We'll talk about two of the tight ends today
Higbee's
while covering the
hurting.
Bengals.
His situation in terms of fantasy is hurt by the fact that there's too many pass catchers in LA right now.
Correct.
Not enough to go around for him to eat. Delanie Walker, yes.
There you
Good
go,
job,
Bailey.
Bob.
Good shit.
Thank you.
All right. Who's a
right,
journeyman,
so-
by the way, who stuck around forever. Yes,
But I
Rob,
think
you're
that,
right, too. Yep.
I think Kyle Pitts has a chance to vault into the top 3. I think if anything, Darren Waller might be dropped down that list a little bit because of the
Because of the
additions
78
there.
targets a
And
game
other
that
people,
Adams
you're
is
going to get Renfro and Devontae Adams are going to be involved a lot. But at the end of the day, I think that the main focus of other opposing defenses has been Waller. So you've seen a regression based on that. But now it might free things up. Waller's an extreme talent, but
We shall
the
see.
production hasn't matched up the last 2 seasons, I don't think.
Waller?
Like, I don't know
He's
how you
had
could
flashes
I don't
of
know how
really
you
good
could
games,
put-
and then like
I don't
he's
know how you
disappeared
could
in
put
some as well.
Waller over Mark Andrews coming off the season Mark Andrews had last year.
Andrew's
What
going
does
to be
the
a
guy
beast
gotta
this
do?
year. I like
I don't know
him
how
too.
you could put really anybody besides Kelsey above him. Like,
Kittle.
But in terms of like what they did last year, Kittle missed some time, and
Hmm.
Mark Andrews had 107 receptions. That's a big
Did
number.
he really have
Yeah.
107 catches?
Yeah, bro. His numbers were gaudy last season.
Damn, bro. Well, that just also goes to show you,
He had
again, and I've said it a million
than
times,
Kelsey.
with Lamar out and a younger quarterback in, you're looking underneath a lot. So he's going to get a lot of volume. Andrew's going to be a stud this year. Lamar's back. So that Ravens team, which we've talked about already earlier this week, if you want to go back and preview either the Ravens, the Browns, or the Steelers, we could do that by going to our YouTube channel. We have full episodes available right now, including a clipped up version by Madison yesterday for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So thank you for doing that. So now we move on to the Cincinnati Bengals heading into I don't know. Do you look at the Cincinnati Bengals like a AFC Championship loser hangover type deal?
Well, they
don't
won the AFC Championship.
Super Bowl hangover type deal.
I'm here
See
for
what happens when I
everybody.
stop drinking coffee. It's because I want to live.
Got to regulate. It'll all come back down to earth in about a day or 2.
So you think I can go back to coffee?
No. I'm
Oh.
saying like now you're dealing with the effects of not having it, so you got to get used to it.
Got it. Well, we
Coffee,
sent
no more
Madison's
coffee.
out of here. She's like, I got a headache. I need caffeine. I got to go to Starbucks. I'm like, all right, is that a
Drugs.
thing?
Drugs.
Drugs?
Caffeine
Mainline
helps
that shit.
headaches.
That's scientifically proven,
Well,
right?
caffeine
Yes.
causes headaches in that regard because the only reason why you have a headache is because you're withdrawing from lack of caffeine in your system.
But I don't drink it every day.
Dr. Chris over here just told you how it is.
Sorry,
So.
forgot you have a med degree.
Right, Dave. Also, I have advice for you. We'll talk after the show. I'm kidding.
About Madison's employment?
No,
Oh, man. Anyway,
no,
so
I'm good.
yeah,
I'm
we're
good.
all good.
I had
So,
3 cups this morning.
the
So.
Cincinnati
I'm not one to
Bengals
talk.
2022 season. I tell you what, the one thing I could say, first of all, this morning, the Bengals social media crew came out and said, coming soon, the white Bengal. They're going to have an all white icy uniform and it's going to look
Clean.
fucking flawless. I love that kind of shit.
Did they actually call it the white Bengal?
Yeah.
Isn't it called something else?
It's a white Bengal.
Yeah, I know, but like the real term.
Holy shit. So like you're going to make me Google. Okay.
I mean, I'm not making you do
is
anything.
there
You
a-
decided.
Isn't it albino?
calm down
No,
over there, Madison.
I mean,
You're already on shit.
I think that there's like a.
No, here we go. For a white Bengal tiger to be born, both parents must carry the unusual gene with white coloring. So it is called the white Bengal tiger.
Like scientifically.
It's on the goddamn Google.
All right, so then I'm going to refrain from saying it might be considered or deemed racist if that is the case. Because, you know
Jesus
what I mean?
Christ, you're really gonna go there right now?
The white Bengal. Come on.
White,
No, I'm kidding. Anyway,
milky, white. Get it, Scoop. Anyway, so the Oh my God.
as I'm looking across the page, there's the
Does it say
Panthers.
white Bengal?
No, it says the Panthers. I'm like, are they going to call themselves? Are they going to come out with a new uniform and they're going to be all
those
black?
guys.
I wonder
can't
how that
do
will be
that.
received. Then I'll look into it. I'll be like, no. If you Google Panthers and you like, that's what they're actually called in the wild, Black Panthers, and then the White Bengals.
Oh my God!
Do they play each other week
White
one?
devil, white devil.
No.
What?
All right, I'm just
Anyway,
joking. I'm
moving
trying to make
on.
light of the awful
I'm very
attempt at a
excited to
joke.
see the white tiger Bengal uniforms. They're going to be great, icy. It's going to look nice. And ready for this? So obviously we saw what they did last year. Joe Burrow lit the world up. He's a great quarterback. He's now a top 10 guy right away, based off accolades alone, which is fantastic, right? Then you look at the guys that they kept around, right? So in another year of Jamar Chase, another year of T. Higgins. And T. Higgins, I feel, is not talked about enough. The kid is really good. You know what I'm saying? So pair him up. What did you confirm, Google?
No. I confirmed why I thought that, because I used to hear them be referred to as Siberian tigers, but that's false.
Did somebody put?
I read that on Google.
Both of them said Siberian. There's two of them that said Siberian.
Oh, all right. See that? Yeah.
In the comments,
So
it's Danny DeJesus. First of all, his comments don't count. Eagles fan, no, sorry, you're null and void. But thank you for watching. Like the video.
What's up, Danny?
What's up, Danny?
Yes, Siberian tigers. I'm not wrong ever, right?
What
But
was
I am
the
wrong
what
in
was
this
the
case.
what
They're
was the
just
Power
white.
Ranger? Siberian tiger.
I've never seen the Power Rangers.
No, Sabretooth tiger, right? It was Tyrannosaurus.
Are you going through puberty?
No, I did that on purpose because it was a
Oh,
girl
all right.
who played the Sabretooth tiger.
Yelp.
Anyway, let's talk more Bengals. So they kept everybody together. Very excited about that for them. Again, losses. Ready for this? They had, there's some guys they didn't bring back and have not signed anywhere else. So clearly they're not valuable. Bro, they re-signed 17 of their own going into this year, right? Including, I don't know who is including, but I will say they also added Lyle Collins. I talked about him briefly yesterday from the Cowboys after that debacle. I don't really understand that. There was a swap at tight end. You said CJ Azuma. He's now a Jet, right?
Yeah.
But they signed Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst is one of those guys. He wasn't put on that list at all, right?
No.
Hayden Hurst is a very good tight end, and he's going to find out. You're all going to find out just how good he is with Joe Burrow, because Hayden Hurst came from a really decent system, a decent quarterback in Matt Ryan. It's just, that offense just wasn't clicking and they weren't a good football team. Hayden Hurst is going to explode this year. Okay. I really like him. He does a fantastic job with mental health awareness too. So he's definitely, for me, he's one of my guys. The losses is one, CJ Azuma, but I think they got a better tight end now. Ogunjobi, the defensive lineman, that's a big loss. But they took all of their draft capital, including Daxton Hill, their safety, first-round pick, 6 defensive players. So they're bolstering this defense right now. Some would say, when you look at last year's Super Bowl, I can't say the defense was the reason they lost. It was just like Burrow was on the run again, and just getting his ass kicked by Aaron Donald.
There was
constantly.
There was that one play where Jamar Chase cooked Jalen Ramsey on the last play of the game, where he was wide open and Burrow got sacked. You don't see that enough, but that was a real fucking thing. He definitely
was wide,
cooked the shit out of him. He was wide open.
Seam.
It was almost like a Larry Fitzgerald moment. There would have been no time for the Santonio Holmes counter moment. So It was one of those, it was a crazy situation. The Bengals were literally this close, and it was the offensive line that they didn't draft.
They drafted somebody in the second round who wound up being okay.
But no. Everybody points to the fact that they're not protecting Joe Burrow. They should have drafted offensive line. But Jamar Chase was that pick. I think they made the right pick.
They did. Absolutely.
He's a stud.
Yeah. And now, like I said,
because they would have been he would have had all the time in the world, and Jalen Ramsey would have locked down whatever receiver that wasn't Jamar Chase in that situation. Nor would they have been in the Super Bowl.
I was going to say, I don't
Very
think
true.
they make the Super Bowl if they don't draft Jamar Chase.
Right. I agree. And again, adding a Lyle Collins, he was one of the bullies on the offensive line for the Cowboys, right? I mean, there was times he was a little suspect, but overall, he's a big body over there, right tackle, and young. So
I've been looking at the Bengals, and I cling to the fact that they're in the Super Bowl last year and they lost, and there's a Super Bowl hangover. And I initially came out and said, I'm just not high on them this year. I think that they're going to have a tough go of it based on their scheduling. And the more I look at it and I look around their division, outside of the fact that they have the hardest schedule within their division, they're clear cut the best roster in the AFC North right now.
They are. And that's why they're right. Well, actually, remember yesterday,
I firmly believe
2 days ago,
they have by far the best head coach.
We read that they were not the favorites to win the division. I believe it was the Ravens who were actually the betting favorite to win the division.
To me, I find it hard to believe it's the same deal. Whereas the Bengals are not favored to win the division, but their projected win total is higher than the Ravens is.
Sam Grasso coming in, Mixon a bit underrated. Your thoughts?
I agree.
I personally, I understand the stats, and we talked about it the other day. As far as I think he popped up on as the number 6 rusher on the execs thing from ESPN. But I look at Mixon he's like for me, and this is just personal opinion, he's like a stub toe away from missing 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like he stayed relatively healthy last year, but the year before that was rough. So he doesn't have the overall track record of staying healthy. But if he is healthy, he's a very dynamic player on the field.
I think,
and he doesn't get the respect.
I think a lot
he
of people have developed a deep hatred for Joe Mixon due to drafting him in a fantasy league. One of the seasons he's gotten hurt, and now you attach injury to him. But he played 16 games 3 years ago. He missed time 2 seasons ago, and then last season he played 16 out of 17 games. To me, in the league that we're talking about, it's like Devontae Adams missed 3 games,
but
7 games over that stretch.
Let's be fair. There was a lot of questionable marks going into some of these games for Mixon. So he was banged up and he just wound up playing.
Shout out to the NFL for everyone getting hurt in it. I agree. But Mixon plays fucking good. If you look at his averages, he's averaging over 4 yards a carry behind what I thought was a shoddy offensive line for the most of his career. Mm-hmm. Cincinnati just finally started getting it going. They now have a really good quarterback. They have some guys on the outside. Mixon, clear position to vault into the top 5. In rushing, you could call it he gets involved in the receiving game.
Catches the ball to the backfield well.
I do think Mixon is a bit underrated only because I think there's a negative connotation surrounding how often he gets hurt. But if you look around the league, it's on par with the league standard. Devontae Adams missed 1 less game than Mixon did over the last 3 years. How come Devontae Adams isn't being talked about as an injury risk? You get what I'm saying?
Because, in regard to that, I would say because the running backs get more volume, so therefore they're heavier risk. They're a heavier risk to get hurt.
Their career path, exactly. I get it, right? But speaking over the last 3 years specifically, Devontae Adams has been injured 1 less game than Joe Mixon, or 2 less games.
Bobby Earps is saying he's good for 40 catches a year, that's good. Yeah. That's good at the backfield. All right, so let's break down the schedule here, okay? They are officially being listed as a 10-win team, okay? Last year they went 10-7. They won the division by a half a game because the Steelers kissed their sister and they tied. So projection wins this year is 10 wins again. So what Vegas is saying is that they didn't get any worse, but they also didn't get that much better.
Yeah, so the projected win total is 10, but it has the 3rd best odds in the league in terms of going over. So a lot of times when you see the win totals it's like 10, but it's minus 120, plus 130 to go under, right? They're plus 110 to go over. Very good. They're gonna,
really?
Yeah, they're.
So they got plus money to go over.
I like them going over this year. Now that I'm looking at everything.
Let's talk about it, because right now they also have the 3rd toughest schedule in the NFL. And obviously, when you deal with that division that they're dealing with, yesterday when I was talking to Rob about the Steelers to me weren't a team built to sweep any teams within the division. Do you find the Bengals can sweep a team within the division? Because that right away, that helps obviously the over-under, but also their bid to win the NFC.
They
AFC
played
North.
well within the division last year. They beat up on Baltimore. The one game where it was big moments. They had some big moments. They beat up on some good teams last year. They
also got crushed by the Jets.
Yeah, to me, that's where the anomalies come from. And it's you see that, but the NFL is full of guys that played football their whole life. Right? And they wear cleats and everything.
You're like B Rabbit right now. I'm just going to use everything that you got against me.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, so we start with the Steelers home game.
Head coach, I believe in their head coach, and I think that's going to be the difference in a lot of these.
I like their head coach games.
Too. He fought his way back because I think he was on the hot seat potentially going into last season, and then all he did was go 3-1 in the postseason, and the rest is history.
Just piggybacking off the Mixon conversation, maybe somebody joining us late. One Nation Underground is saying that Mixon finished 4th last year in rushing, 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns. So yeah, there's no bashing contest on Mixon. We think he's underrated. So we think that he's primed for another good year. Yeah, you had a better offensive line, which they have. Joe Mixon could have a phenomenal year. So schedule wise, starting at home with the Steelers. I said yesterday in the Steelers preview, if anybody wanted to take the Steelers serious this year, they would have to go on the road and beat Cincinnati, but I don't see it happening. Not at least week 1. I just don't. Obviously, the picks will be in, obviously, the week before or the Sunday before or the Friday before.
So this is the problem that I have, and I'm only saying this. It's I think that if no matter what happens in that game, if Pittsburgh goes into Cincinnati and they don't beat Cincinnati, to be they don't need to be recognized right away. I think Pittsburgh is going to take some time with their system, and I think Trubisky sucks. So I think that eventually you're going to see somebody else there.
Such a different pulse of what we were talking about yesterday. Rob thinks Trubisky's good. You think Trubisky's good. You think he's just sucks.
Okay, guys. I mean,
he took a Matt Nagy-led Chicago Bears team to the playoffs.
He didn't take anyone. He got taken to the playoffs by a defense that was led by Khalil Mack and what is it Quinn or Akeem Akers? Like they had some studs and they had a good secondary. That wasn't, bro.
He Alex Smith his way to the playoffs, so whatever. He could do that again with a situation like that.
I'm not
Great
a big
defense with
believer in
Pittsburgh.
Trubisky. It could be a resurgence like a Tannehill situation. By
all
all
right.
means.
So anyway,
I'm not
week 2 was an absolute 1,000% loss for the Cincinnati Bengals as they travel to Dallas. So that'll be fun. Burrow. No, this is definitely the game that Chase does the gritty all over the star or some shit. I don't know what it's going to be, but whatever. They're going to New York again, in which, again, the Jets beat them up last year. Maybe the Cincinnati Bengals got that chip going on saying, I don't know about this year, bro. Watch us this year. We'll see.
But they didn't beat him up. That was a great game.
It
was the Mike White game.
I thought they crushed them.
No, didn't they have like a
Sure. I forgot that he
I thought
played
Mike White had
quarterback
some
last
like
year.
heroics late. And it was like a
something
survivor thing that was
34-31. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the Jets put up 34 on anybody was a surprise and an anomaly last year. But anyway, so they got the Steelers, Cowboys, Jets first 3, then the Dolphins, at Ravens, at New Orleans. So yes, in those first 6 games, it's an even split. Actually, no, it's 4 on the road. So the Bengals are going to have to be some road warriors to get off to the hot start, and that's including 1-2 division games within the start of their schedule. So they get out of there 3-3. I say that's a victory for me.
It's like they did well on the road in the postseason last year. I think they don't have many issues playing
because
on the road.
of my man with ice in his veins, Money McPherson.
But we're talking about really like everybody has this conception that the idea that the Bengals are a pass first team because of their receiving talent. They're really not. You know, I think they were 20th in the league in terms of passing attempts last year.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Burrow was probably the most efficient quarterback in the league based on how little they threw and how his counting stats actually added up. I'm not sure where he falls in the efficiency range, but it's like really efficient, you know? Really, really efficient.
I like that.
For a guy that's played football his whole life, it's even more efficient.
I don't know where he falls on the efficiency ranks, but he's pretty goddamn efficient.
Because like I know that they do these weird advanced stats.
I'm sure PFF is all over that shit.
Exactly.
Right.
But
One Nation Underground definitely is behind because he's commenting saying about the black stripes and the white jerseys. We talked all about the white Bengals.
No, maybe I don't think he's behind. I think he's probably a Bengals fan. The One Nation, Who Dat
obviously
Nation.
he said Burrow's going to smoke the Jets this year.
Who Dat Nation.
Yes.
Right? I
Yes.
think that's where I'm getting the parallels here. So welcome.
And like the video. And subscribe.
And
tell your friends.
That thumbnail brought you, I would imagine.
Yes,
right?
the thumbnail definitely brought you. It's all your do-goodingness.
Come for the thumbnail, stay for the
content. After that 6-week stretch, they got the Falcons, which, again, I think the Falcons are going to be not bottom feeders, but I think they're going to have a tough go at it. Their secondary is good, but again, offense, we'll see. Then they go at Cleveland, Carolina. They get their bye in week 10. So 9 games before the bye. If you gave me 1, 2, what did I mark down? 3, 4, 5. If you gave me a 5-4 record after 9, I think that's a very, very good thing for the backstretch. And I got them losing, obviously, against Dallas because I'm just being, a joker. But like, in realistic terms, going on the road to Baltimore and on the road to New Orleans is not going to be easy for these guys. It's just not. Anybody goes to New Orleans. Doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah,
New Orleans is just a different beast.
Of course, but this team,
home.
I just think that, last year, we're not to talk about last year, but, the Bengals present a lot of problems.
I agree.
Teams.
I agree. But it's just,
simply put,
I don't know. I think it's a little bit more tough sledding than everybody thinks. So after the bye, they go 2 games on the road after the bye. Unlike the Steelers last night when we were talking about the Steelers.
They're going to kill the Jets, by the way.
You think so?
Yeah, they're going to kill them.
Oh, all right.
The spread's going to be like 12.
It's not. It's not. It's not. They might be road favorites, but 12?
Maybe not 12, but it's
not even going to be double digits.
What was it might be.
No.
I don't know what's going to happen weeks 1 and 2 with
you
the
want
Jets.
You want me to take a stab at the week 2 the Jets week 3 spread right now in New York? That spread will be, and regarding of what they do in the first 2 weeks.
It's going to be over a touchdown.
I think it's going to be 5. Bengals favored by 5 at New York. That's where I think. But I'm not a handicapper.
Well,
I just play one on TV.
If it's only 5, then I'll take the Jets because everyone in the world is going to take the Bengals in that one.
One Nation Underground saying that the Jets are going to win the East. So we'll talk about the Jets. What are we, North, South, East in like 2 weeks. Anyway, so at Pittsburgh, at Tennessee, no easy feat there. Maybe they do get that Tennessee game. I can see that. Then they got to go home, and this is their crossover game, I believe, and that's Kansas City, and that sucks for them. Kansas City returning or going to Cincinnati, that's the only advantage I pose for the Cincinnati Bengals in that game. But again, it's Mahomes, it's company. We'll see what happens. We'll see how good the Kansas City Chiefs could be this year. That AFC West is going to be so much fun to talk about.
That was the Chiefs game for the Bengals last year. That was their coming out party. That was the time in the season that I took them dead ass serious when they went into Kansas City and they took care of business in a big win. I mean, show me where like with the loss of Tyreek Hill, I feel like the offense for Cincinnati stacks up. Much like and the defense.
If there's a shootout, then I like the odds.
And the
of
defense
Cincinnati.
to me, like I need to see the Chiefs defense until I see the defense play well without Honey Badger and without Melvin Ingram. I need to see it because they were terrible without Ingram last year.
We'll talk about Kansas City in a couple weeks. Definitely
80 points in that one.
Then they got all right Cleveland, and then ready for this 4-game stretch. And one of them I don't find to be a hard one, but 3 out of the last 4 games for the Bengals are tough. They got to go on the road against Tampa Bay, then on the road against New England, and I don't think New England's going to be any good, so that'll be their win. But those last 2 games for the Bengals, if they need to have them, if that AFC North is tight at the end of the year, bro, Buffalo comes to town, and then the Ravens come to town. Both home games for Cincinnati, so that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, man, that last
stretch.
2 stretch,
even, bro,
3 out of 4
the
games.
Patriots getting going into New England in December, late
they're playing
December,
Cincinnati, so it's not.
Bro, I don't give going into New England, right?
Yeah.
They got to go to New England,
But they play in Cincinnati. It's cold there too.
No, I'm not talking about like fuck that. I don't care where you live, because like if you live in Cincinnati, you're not like it's cold out here. Let me practice being freezing cold. Like you go in your house, especially if you're rich. That doesn't have any bearing. I'm talking about the environment, like the weather. That might be one of those games where it's like all the offensive firepower in the world doesn't matter.
Mac Jones throws the ball twice.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to, pull up your bootstraps a little bit in that one, because I would imagine there's gonna be terrible weather. So even the one game that's easy in the backstretch, easy at Bill Belichick in December at home.
All right.
Easy.
So taking all this consideration, the over/under is 10.
It is a
Finished
tough
10-7
schedule.
last year. This year, 3rd toughest schedule in the NFL. We said that before. I'm finding it easier to bet the under.
They're gonna push.
You got 10 wins out of this? You got 10 wins out of this?
Because you're looking at every game that's tough as like a potential loss. Like there's going to be
Not a potential, no, because I think they can go on the road and win games like
they're going to win
Tennessee
some tough
and Pittsburgh, and I think they can win those
games. They
games.
can beat the Chiefs. They could beat fucking at Buccaneers. Like we don't know what the Bucs are going to be by that time. We don't know a lot of these things are going to shape up. Last year at this point, when we were having a conversation about Cincinnati, we all had them finishing 4th in their division. So they're sitting here. So obviously we're just speculating, but
if I have them at 9 and you say a push, more than likely that means another NFC North title is coming to Cincinnati.
Yeah, no.
I mean, well, you like the Ravens
I
a lot.
the Ravens a lot too. So that's going to be a battle. Those are the 2 best.
That last game of the year, bro. It's going to be Bengals and
everything.
That could be for everything.
I think the difference
maybe even
for me
the bye. Who knows?
is like I'm rooting. I don't want to. I like the Bengals more, so I don't want to root to be right because I initially said the Ravens. I'm having a hard time believing in my own initial pick. Like I feel like Cincinnati's just such a clear better
He's not
team.
believing in his own bullshit, folks. Imagine that. But it's a tough last 4 games for these teams.
Like,
you know what?
If Joe Burrow needs a first down and it's 3rd and 6, he's going to get it. If Lamar needs it, he's not.
Now, what you said earlier today about Deshaun Watson and the suspension might not be long. So look at the last 6 games for this team. It's Kansas City, it's Cleveland, it's Tampa, it's Buffalo.
I don't
it's the
buy
Ravens.
the Browns no matter what. I don't. Yeah. I just need their defense is always supposed to be really good. They're always not. And Kyle, I know, said that when they were healthy, they were a top 10 unit. All right.
Kyle, we know. See, he'll get that. It's not the dodgeball reference. No, it's not. That's a
it's hard for me to predict. It's hard for me to predict them getting any less than 10. Like, do you really see them being in a 9 and 8?
I just think it's.
I don't.
I think it's a tougher stretch for this
They're
team.
good.
Man.
They're a really good team.
They're
and
very
I like
good, and they're loaded. Trust me.
really good head coach.
But
And I
remember,
think
guys,
that's a difference maker.
This water boy. Wow, fuck! I'm so mad at myself for that one. That's on me. I'm sorry. That's my mistake. I
I think
apologize.
everyone will forgive you.
No, man. I see.
You're apologizing to yourself, really. Like you're like, God damn it, I can't. You're mad at yourself.
Well, because when it comes to movies and quotes, if I hear somebody quote something wrong, it burns, bro. I don't know why. It could be one word off, and I'm like, dude, come on. Like you got it wrong.
Well, you
know?
quoted, you didn't get the quote wrong.
No, I
You
didn't.
just
I know
didn't get it.
exactly
See,
what
you
the
got
quote is. It's just so funny. Anyway, we know. I think that's Musburger is the play-by-play.
Also,
guy.
they have the most exciting kicker in the league.
Money McPherson.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
He did miss
You got
several field goals in overtime to give the Packers the win, though.
fun times. That had to be that one had to pull on the heartstrings a little bit.
God.
In peril.
Still
Anyway, One Nation Underground is coming back and saying the Bengals' new offensive line. And yes, they finally, adding Collins, great. I think that was a big thing. Vicky Valancourt. That's a big thing for the Bengals this year is protecting Burrow, opening up more holes for Mixon, getting the underneath stuff to Hayden Hurst, and then over the top, you got these burners that are just going to fucking roast people. The Bengals are loaded, okay? I just think that the AFC as a whole is really loaded, So like that getting a 10th win might be all fun when you do get it.
We can't wait to find out where the Wolf tickets are being sold in the AFC because there is not that many good teams. Like I think that there's
the entire AFC West is
I know,
good.
but they're not. They're not going to be. Like something's going to give there. They're not all going to be good. I just don't see it. Like there's not going to be. All these teams got to play each other, right? So across the AFC, I think Buffalo, Cincinnati, you could consider Cincinnati, but like the Ravens, they were 2 losses away from being, so they could vault into it. I agree, but I'm not buying in on the Raiders yet. I'm not completely buying in on the Broncos yet. I'm not even completely buying in on Kansas City yet, although I do think their offense will carry them to the playoffs, but their defense is going to be bad, right? The Chargers, they haven't done anything. No playoff wins in anybody on their team's
They're one
career.
bad coaching decision away from winning the game.
Okay. I do think the Chargers are really good though.
Yeah,
So,
I mean they're the sexy pick in the AFC right now.
The Bills, and then outside the Bills, what do you got? Miami, the AFC
Miami
South,
could be on the come up.
The Colts, and we're talking realistically about the Jaguars like being contenders this year. So
when I say the AFC is really good, it's not that far off.
No, I'm saying like the fact that we're looking for a contender in the Jaguars, I just think that the AFC West is going to be really good.
No, but we weren't looking for anything. You and I both agree that the Jaguars could be good this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then that's not really looking for it. That's what we think.
I don't think the AFC is as strong as people think. That's my ultimate point.
Okay.
Like I don't buy into all the AFC West yet.
We shall see. All right, guys. That'll do it. That'll do the Bengals preview. Be sure to like the video. Okay, that would help us out tremendously. Be sure to subscribe if you've never been here before and you're new to the show. I know there's a couple new faces in here today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. We go live every day at 11 o'clock. Tomorrow will be a fantasy aspect spin on it. And then come Monday, we'll be covering the AFC South. That'll be fun. We're talking about the Jaguars. Well, they'll be in next week's conversation along.
Monday. They took last. Or was it the Texans?
Texans were dog shit, yes. So.
They were a game above
Davis Mills season, mother effers. Everybody get on the Mills train.
No, the Jaguars were the first pick in the draft.
Oh, so they sucked.
So
wait, where are the Texans at? Second?
Fifth?
No.
Well, they're second in this division.
No. I'm saying the draft order. I know the Giants were 5th. The Jets were 4th. Yeah, maybe the Texans were like 3rd. Because Detroit was 2nd. Yes, there you go. Done and done. Liked and subbed. Thank you very much, One Nation Underground. Hope you enjoyed the preview for your Houday Cincinnati Bengals. We're back tomorrow for some fantasy football talk. For Sturch, Gooch, Nick, Madison, another packed house here at Chop Studios from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in Mattawa, New Jersey. See you guys tomorrow.